So July 19th, it's kind of crazy, but this is arguably one of the greatest dates in the entire history of math. And, well, here's why. On this one specific calendar date, across entirely different centuries, mind you, and completely different countries, some insanely brilliant minds quietly solved equations that literally changed the world we're living in right now. I'm super excited to guide you through this explainer of the source document titled ENGV, where we're going to unpack exactly how they pulled this off. Let's meet them one by one.
We're going to do a bit of time traveling today, starting in 1817 over in France, jumping to 1894 in Russia, and then heading all the way up to 2021 in Scotland. Three completely different eras, right? But they're all beautifully tied together by this single day and a shared drive to solve real-world mysteries. All right, let's just dive right into our very first mystery.
Okay, have you ever actually stopped to wonder how your phone screen manages to show millions of vivid colors? Or think about this, how do fiber optic cables running deep under the ocean actually send information as these ultra-fast flashes of light? Like, how do we even harness and control that kind of wild energy on a daily basis?
Well, the answer to that actually starts way back on July 19th, 1817, with a brilliant guy named Charles Briot. And the thing that's truly fascinating here is his one massive achievement. Briot successfully mapped out the math of physical waves, specifically light and heat. He literally took something entirely invisible, something totally wild like radiant energy, and gave us the precise equations to actually understand it. Because of his foundational work, we can now control light energy to build the advanced fiber optics and those digital screens we're all staring at every single day.
It really is just incredible to think about. The invisible waves of light powering the high-definition videos you're watching right now, those were first mapped out over 200 years ago. And get this, they didn't have supercomputers to do it, no way. It was all done using nothing but a pen, a piece of paper, and the pure, unyielding power of mathematics.
So Briot mastered the math of light, but you know what? The date July 19th wasn't quite done making history just yet. We're going to fast forward 77 years now, moving over to a completely different country for an idea that's, honestly, arguably even bigger, and it's something that directly impacts how you are receiving this very explainer right now.
Think about this modern frustration for a second. How does your Wi-Fi signal not instantly get mixed up with your neighbors? Even when there are hundreds of devices in your apartment building or your neighborhood and they're all streaming data at the exact same time, how in the world do we avoid just total and utter chaos online? Well, that invisible traffic cop keeping all of our data perfectly in check, we totally owe that to Aleksandr Khinchin. And yeah, you guessed it, he was born on exactly the same day, July 19th in 1894. Khinchin built the mathematical foundations of information theory. In really simple terms, he calculated the probability of data. He basically figured out how to code and structure digital information so flawlessly that errors simply don't happen when we blast it over a totally crowded network. That brilliant probability math is exactly the reason our internet and Wi-Fi run smoothly without just collapsing into a massive mess.
Armed with just a pencil and some seriously extraordinary creative power, Khinchin proved a concept that honestly still feels like magic today. Every single text message you send, every song you stream, every file you ever download, it's all secretly just a beautifully organized stream of mathematical probability. He found this perfect order hiding inside literally billions of data points.
Okay, so July 19th gave us the math for light, and it gave us the math for data. But our final jump through time, taking us to 2021 in Scotland, this shows us what happens when math crosses over from the mechanical world right into the human body itself.
Just consider this for a second. What if the beating of your heart and the seemingly chaotic nerve impulses constantly firing off signals to your brain, what if they weren't just random biology? What if they were actually following a highly predictable mathematical equation?
And that brings us to July 19th, 2021, which is the day we lost a true visionary named Brian Sleeman. He pioneered this deeply fascinating field known as mathematical biology. So instead of looking at machines or internet networks, Sleeman used math to map out incredibly complex biological systems, like the super chaotic way our cardiac nerve cells fire. By translating all that raw, messy biology into clean, elegant mathematical equations, he laid the essential groundwork for the modern medical tech that tracks, monitors, and ultimately helps us understand our vital signs today.
Which leads us to this really profound realization. Even stochastic biological responses, and by that I mean systems that look completely random, highly variable, and totally unpredictable on the surface, they actually have a deeply ingrained underlying order. The rhythm of life, from the simple beat of a heart to the firing of a complex thought, it's all fundamentally written in the language of mathematics.
So, as we wrap up, think about it. Every single person we talked about today, across entirely different centuries and completely different countries, they were all connected by this one extraordinary date, July 19th. But they were also connected by something much, much deeper. They all looked at the wild, untamed world and asked the exact same question: what is the pattern hiding inside the chaos? Charles Briot found it in light waves. Aleksandr Khinchin found it in internet data. Brian Sleeman found it in our own biology. And because they asked those questions and boldly solved those equations, our world today has the digital screens, the wireless networks, and the life-saving medical tech that we literally couldn't live without.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought. If the light emitting from your screen, the data flowing through your Wi-Fi, and the very beating of your own heart are all, at their core, just beautiful math, what else in your room right now is secretly an equation